Buenas and Hafa Adai. My name is F. Glenn Lujan.
And I'm Joshua Agustin.
We are the hosts of KUAM's podcast network. We'll be coming up with our own show called Hafa Adai Yu. Basically, we're going to be just discussing all things related to our LGBTQ community and just shed some light on who we are and what we do, and we're just everyday people on Guam.
And we got a lot of interesting topics coming up too, so please stay tuned because it's gonna get juicy.
Very juicy.
So growing up, I guess for me, when I knew the difference between male and female, I knew what I was attracted to already. I think I was 4 or 5 years old at the time. And then I didn't start to act on that maybe until I was 16 or 17 years old. I had my first boyfriend. One of my siblings and I got into a huge argument, and the sibling mine was like, I'm gonna go and tell Mom to have a boyfriend. Said sibling comes around the corner and says, Mom, did you know Joshua has a boyfriend? And I'm like, my mom turns around, she goes, do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, I do. And that was it. I mean, thankfully though, my mom did have a gay brother, so we had a gay uncle growing up, and they were already exposed to that early on. But it was a little harder for him, and so I guess for me, my mom tried to make it a little easier when I kind of came out.
So for me, my coming out story, I knew from the get-go in my teens, I was a little bit, there's something different about me, the way I'm feeling and everything. And there was one night here at the house, my mom was in her room, and I just felt that I felt the need to tell her, I go, Mom, there's something I need to tell you. And of course my mom's response is, what? And I was just really quiet, I was nervous, I was fidgeting. And she's just sitting there, she's watching TV, and I go, Mom, I need to tell you something. And she goes, what? Just tell me, spit it out. And I'm like, Mom, I just took a deep breath and I said, Mom, I'm gay. And then my mom just, she stopped looking at the TV, she turned towards me, and she just said, Adai boy, what am I gonna do? God created you this way, and you're my son, and I love you no matter what. No matter what, who you love and for who you are. So don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be okay. And I was bawling, I was crying, and I took it. I was being so dramatic, and she's even like, why are you crying? I said, oh, because it's so emotional, Mom. And she goes, Adai, she goes, you're okay. God loves you, I love you, and that's all that matters. So Adai, and then she goes, no wonder why I'm always wondering why you keep going out every night. I'm like, oh, that's what it is? I go, yeah, Mom. And she goes, Adai, I thought you're doing something else. Duru how night, the clubbing. And I go, yeah, I know, but I would always tell my mom, I got a study group. And she's like, Hafi, I seen a class in study group at 10 o'clock at night. So, once I cleared that and got that out of my system, everything was good. My mom was my backbone, and I really truly loved her for that support. I didn't really know a lot of gay people when I came out to my mom in the late 90s, early 2000s. And again, I have to give one of my friends credit, Tim De La Cruz. He's also another prominent person in our LGBTQ community, and I did meet more gay people through Tim and his partner from before, and they had introduced me to Tim had introduced me to Charlene Cruz and Ed, Bubbles, known as Bubbles Roberto, Charlene known as Mama Char in our group, and Ed as Bubbles, and that's what led to our group, which I am a part of, the House, the Sisters of the Moonlight. And Charlene and Bubbles, they're like the mother and father of our house, and they really accepted me. It just felt right. Most of us have our biological family, but in our community we have our chosen family, and so that's who my chosen family is, the Sisters of the Moonlight.
I think I became more aware of it when people started sharing their stories with me, what they went through, because I fortunately didn't have that type of experience growing up. I always was surrounded by people that didn't care, who I chose to love. As long as I was loving somebody, that's all I cared about. I think that was when, you know, even our house, the House of Diosa, including the Sisters of the Moonlight, like we started to really reach out there to the community. Like people started coming to us, asking us questions like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Oh, you know, I think one of my children is, you know, identifying as gay or trans. Like, I don't know what to do.
What do we do? What are your thoughts? You know, how can we guide our children, or, you know, someone that's coming to us and confiding in us? It wasn't until recently I just got to know Josh as well.
Yeah.
So it's different. And hearing Joshua's perspective, you know, he grew up in a time where it was socially acceptable now, versus my time, you know, back in the 80s, 90s when I was going to school, I would get beat up or bullied, you know. You get teased, you know. I mean, I'm an educator now and I see it in the schools. It's so socially accepting now, and I'm just like, wow, you know, we've come so far.
We have come a long way.
Yeah.
We really have. You know, if you tie that into Chamorro culture, it's family based. You know, it's all about respect for one another. And for me, I just think it's a lot more socially accepting to be who we are here on Guam, only because there's been a lot of overwhelming support. Gay, straight, bi, trans, straight, it does not matter. Family's family.
For me, I think it's still continuing the fight for equality and services for our LGBTQ community, especially like our transgender population, you know, in terms of medical services, providing the right doctors to assist them in their transition journey, and then, you know, equality in general. There's still a lot of hate going on. In recent events that just happened, the pride flag display was burnt and vandalized down at the Guam legislature, and we're hurt. Josh and I were a part of that, setting it up with a couple of our other good friends, and when we received word about that, we're like, wow, you know, it really touched home, because we were so excited. We just wanted to celebrate Pride. I mean, I didn't think we did anything wrong, but, you know, the hate still exists out there. You know, I think in terms, some of the common, I guess, misconception is like, we can do the same things as anybody could do. For me, I guess my time growing up, boys were only supposed to do certain things. You're supposed to bush cut. You're supposed to help out in the yard. But with me growing up, I was like, I want to help cook inside the house. I want to help decorate, set up. But nowadays, you know, it doesn't matter anymore. I think that speaks volumes, you know, accepting who you are and what you can do. I think that's one of the misconceptions, because for me, like, my family still thinks I can't bush cut, and I'm like, hello. One day I said, you know what, I need to learn how to clean my yard. So one day I tried it on. This is a perfect example. Put on all the gear, started up that thing, and then, you know, of course the rock's flying. I'm screaming like, oh my God, but then, you know, I'm protected, and then they're like, are you okay? Or I'm like, yeah. It's like, get over it. You know, we can do certain things. To everyone that's listening out there, to all of you who are going through your own personal growth and finding yourself and identifying who you are, above all, first and foremost, love yourself. When you love yourself, everything else will resonate through, and you're gonna be okay. And you're not alone out there. We're all here. You know, you can check me out, the Sisters of the Moonlight. And above all, love yourself.
Always remember Pride Month exists because you exist.
And Pride Month is just not in June. You celebrate Pride every day of your life. Every day of your life.